Back here on First Things First, and we are going viral. Tiger Woods had a great weekend, finishing his first tournament in 2 years, but one low light came dealing with a fan. Take a listen to this.
This joke.
You can keep the pace on this. This is going up the hill.
That was right in the middle of the stroke. That was awful. Come on, let me know. Enthusiasm a little premature with that one. That was totally uncalled for.
What happens is that guy gets
He gets kicked out. First of all, Tiger should get a do-over. I know you disagree, so we're going to act like I didn't say.
You don't know what I'm going to say.
Tiger should get a do-over there. Second of all, Chris, when you were walking with Tiger all those rounds, were you one of the get in the hole guys?
No.
Not prematurely, obviously, but
no. I mean, I know golf etiquette, and I've walked probably 30 rounds with Tiger. Being close to him at the Masters, there's no phone, so you don't have to worry about some things happening. But Tiger Woods' dad trained him for stuff like this when he was younger. When Tiger used to get ready to hit shots, his dad used to yell racial slurs to him. He used to call him all kinds of things. So Tiger was distracted, but he has the type of focus that's one of a kind. So I don't know if he would have made the putt. That goes without saying, but his overall training, Tiger's not surprised by this. His dad prepared him for things like this and much worse.
Don't get a do-over. Professional athlete.
It's called a mulligan.
Deal with it. Not at a PGA tournament.
I feel like they give tennis players those sometimes. Someone yells while they're serving. I'm just saying.
Time for some stories to start your morning. Tom Brady has had the 12 stitches removed from his hand. There was never much doubt about him playing in the Super Bowl, though. And after being limited in practice Thursday, Brady was a full participant Friday. CC, should we expect Brady's injured hand to have any impact on the Super Bowl?
No, absolutely not. I thought the biggest impact after seeing him throw early, I saw how he was handling the football. I was worried about him landing and then the gash being reopened, which in turn would have they would have been able to re-stitch it. But his ability to throw the ball after that would have been hampered. Once you get the stitches out, as I said before, I had the same type of injury, jumping out of a college window, doing some foolishness. So I didn't have to throw the ball, but this is about the right amount of time for that hand to heal. He's okay.
The key is now he can be a full participant at practice. He wasn't a full participant last Thursday, I believe, because they didn't want something fluky to happen, him fall or hit it on a helmet again. It reopens, and then the timeline starts all the way over. Once the stitches are removed, you don't have to worry about it reopening. He can get his full workload in this week. Jenna is squeamish.
Because you said reopening like 4 times.
Yeah, it's the cut. And it's just skin.
Sounds like the Broncos might be interested in a quarterback change. They've got the number 5 pick in the draft, but over the weekend, John Elway said he feels the team also has the trade ammo to acquire a veteran quarterback. Nick, would the Broncos be better off drafting a quarterback or going with a veteran?
It depends on how close you think the defense is. It depends on, we heard this week they might not keep Aqib Talib. I think they still, even without Talib, have a championship caliber defense. So if they want to go the Alex Smith route, if they want to go the route of a veteran quarterback who should be on the market, I understand that. I also should mention, though, if the Giants don't draft a quarterback at 2, we know the Colts aren't at 3, the Browns are sitting at 4, and they have going to draft a quarterback at 1, we would assume. They should be able to move up to get their choice of quarterback if they want to go that route.
John Elway's been more successful with the veteran route. He was able to get Peyton Manning to come, and that's really the success that they had in Denver was with a veteran. I think that they should look at the veteran market, but keep their eyes open for one player. If there's one player that I see in Denver being successful, Baker Mayfield. John Elway, you like him? Man, he's got some swagger. He's got some fast twitch stuff. I believe his overall arm and accuracy will transfer over to the NFL. So you've had success with the veteran. I can live with that if you go with the veteran route. But the only one I like in a quarterback in Denver as a rookie is Baker Mayfield, Oklahoma.
All right, finally, fun game in the NBA. It all started when Joel Embiid dunked all over the Russell Westbrook and then stared him down. Westbrook got a little revenge with a dunk of his own, and then ultimate revenge with a stare down at Embiid as time expired. Thunder went on to win this one, 122-1. Very dramatic. Nick, what was your reaction to all this?
I loved all of it. It started the last time these two teams played. It was an epic triple overtime game where at the end of the game, Russ did a very over-dramatic bye-bye to Embiid as they were walking off the court. Embiid gets him back with one of the best dunks, or most emphatic dunks of the NBA season. And then Russ does what Russ does, which is he always plays angry, but seemed to play at an even angrier level. And sometimes when guys play angry, they play out of control. When Russ plays angry, he seems to actually get better. He's one of my favorite players to watch ever, Russell Westbrook, because he plays this hard every night. When he's extra motivated, whether it was because a few days ago he thought he was picked last in the All-Star game.
Didn't know it was alphabetical.
Or tonight, or last night, pardon me, because they have a little battle with Joel Embiid. I thought it was great. I thought it was a ton of fun to watch. It was a really fun game. It was the best game in the NBA on Sunday to me.
Joel Embiid's a really big-time talent and a big-time personality. It's very, very rare that as a society, we just don't like big people. We don't endear ourselves to giants. Like, we don't. Like, the only giant that people love is Shaq. All right? Besides that, you tell me another 7-footer or a really ginormous person that people are in love with.
Andre.
Andre was one. Andre was the rarity. Yeah, that's. But you can name it. But the other guys, Cece's right. That they're not as.
Andre the Giant.
Yeah, Andre the Giant became lovable. Yeah, that's what she was saying. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I think that from a prime sports standpoint,
sure.
All right, Shaq is the only giant that people like. Joel Embiid is approaching that corner because he has the personality. You talked about the previous meeting. He had a spat not only with Russ, but more so with Melo. You know, Melo tried to put him in his place. Westbrook came into and he took it personal and carried it over into this game. So it's NBA pettiness at its finest. January, let's do it. Let's petty. We've been petty the whole month. Let's go out strong at the end of the month with some pettiness.
You're not entertained by it at all?
I love it. I love it. Cece, speak.
I'm not entertained. I mean, it's... Yeah, him staring him down at the end, oh, that was just great. That was, I mean,
no, it doesn't make for just the drama, make it more fun,
some people's
the rivalry.
Entertainment and some people's turn the channel. Like, I mean, it's not a rivalry. Russ inserted himself into this, all right, the spat that Joel Embiid had with the other players. So Russ was doing what he normally does. So him staring at him dribbling the ball, like this. Besides staring at him, this is what NBA players do at the end of the game. They dribble it out, let the clock milk out, and let the game end.
Yeah, the reason that it was something personal was because not only the last game, but Embiid, after he dunked on Russ, stood over him and looked at him.
He didn't stand over him, Nick. He traveled past him. He just gave him a glance.
He's okay.
If he would have stood over him with the spread legs, that would have been totally different.
Okay, he clearly, after the dunk, put a little emphatic sauce on it, if you will, with the look at Russ.
That's his personality.
Yes. Absolutely. And Embiid, one thing that I'm impressed by Embiid is that he is embracing all of this. He knows he's putting a target on his back every night, and he seems to love it. And I mean, I think it's great. I think it's another huge personality in the NBA, young guy who's been able to back it up. And so I've enjoyed watching.
It's refreshing. It's great to see a big guy who's got some skill. But as far as this being some type of rivalry, no.
Okay.
All right, so we just found out that the Cavs' problems are all fixed. So we are done with that. Okay, maybe not.
Woo!
Maybe not. But Cleveland did win 2 games in a row over the weekend. First time they've had consecutive wins since mid-December. What date, CC?
17th.
17th. Last night, LeBron dominated in the fourth quarter, finishing with 25 points, 8 boards, 14 assists. Here's LeBron after the game.
You know, for the most part, throughout 48 minutes, I think this was one of the best games that we've had. You know, obviously as of late, every game is something to build on. And I think you know, tonight was another positive note of that.
I know it feels like it was a major league when who's the skipper says, "No, that 2 games in a row, that's a winning streak." That's what it feels like right now. So we'll take what we can get.
What do you think, Nick? Is this a win streak, or is this a turning point for the Cavs?
I don't think it's a turning point for the Cavs. It's these 2 games they needed to see something different once they made the lineup change. If even after the lineup change they were just as lethargic, they were just as unengaged or disengaged, pardon me, then it starts to become a bigger problem. They beat the Pacers. You're supposed to beat the Pacers, even though they're having a decent year. And you beat the Pistons. You're absolutely supposed to beat the Pistons. They haven't won a game in 3 weeks. So they did what they were supposed to do. I'm more encouraged by some of the guys, JR, who had been terrible, had his best back-to-back games of the season. Tristan Thompson, even though the stats don't necessarily back it up, the eye test of him playing with more energy seemed to absolutely be there. Jay Crowder was bad in the first game off the bench, but yesterday off the bench, he wasn't just shooting threes anymore. He actually seemed to be at least a close facsimile to what they thought when they got him. But I won't believe the Cavs are at a turning point until either they make a major trade or Isaiah Thomas looks way better than he's looked. Because right now, Isaiah Thomas, just to steal a line from someone on Twitter, just looks like a short person trying to play in the NBA. Like, he has flashes, but other than that, he just looks lost too often. And so, no, I don't think it's a turning point. It is a good sign that they responded at least somewhat to the lineup change.
Yeah, it's always a great sign when you beat a team that hadn't won in how many weeks?
Well, they lost 7 in a row, so I was 2.5, 3 weeks. Well, it's a better sign than losing to them.
Right.
And it's to think that if our expectations are that they're going to be in the finals, they haven't won back-to-back games since December 17. Like, that's hard to do. Last 10 games, they're 4-6. Last night, they basically sleepwalked for 3.5 quarters. Like, it was still the same Cavs. Gave up 61 points in the first half. So they did make some lineup changes. It was nice to see LeBron, him and IT, they split them up. Tyronn Lue did make an adjustment there. They are making some adjustments as far as Tristan playing the 5 at center. But, no, this is not the turning point. Detroit getting 61 points, I was concerned. Then with the third quarter, the Cavs got a little bit better, and then they closed them out in the fourth quarter. But, no, it's not a turning point. They still got tremendous problems.
Let's talk about one of those problems, which you just mentioned, defense. You're giving up 60-plus points in the first. It's not a good sign. Is this the kind of thing where you feel like when it matters, they'll turn it on? Or at this point, do you think...
Some other people feel that way. I can't rely on that. When you're last in the NBA in defense, second to last in the NBA... You got 8 new players. No, I wouldn't rely on it. How can you rely on last year when this team hadn't been through anything together? They're struggling right now. They're having team meetings. Hey, man, were you sick? Derrick Rose took a sabbatical. I mean, he went on a mission. And did nobody even care? Did nobody even care about Derrick Rose being gone? Kevin Love, he's sick in the game. They question his overall sports integrity. And so, no, they still got some huge problems there in Cleveland.
So the reason that I do, listen, are the Cavs ever going to be a lockdown defense? No. Have they been a lockdown defense at any point in the last 4 years? No. Have they made the finals every year and won a championship? Yes. So how have they done it? They are a different defensive team in the playoffs. Last year, I'm going to keep saying this because it's relevant. Last year, All-Star break to the end of the season, that's 30-plus games. They were 29th in defense. The same thing. Oh, there's no flip. There's no switch to flip. What are they going to do? In the playoffs, they were the 3rd-ranked defense. I know they have a lot of new players. Most of those new players...
How was their defense in the finals?
Their defense in the finals? I actually think they defended the Warriors pretty well in the finals.
Well, yeah, because they could. If not, they got a swept. They defended them nice. It was 4-1.
Yes.
Right?
Chris, a lot of teams would have lost to the Warriors when Durant averages 35.
But we're only talking about the Cavs. We're not talking about the rest of the NBA.
Agreed. But the idea to look at given the finals, they still finished 3rd in the playoffs as a whole in defensive efficiency. And you mentioned the new players on the roster. Okay, well, so Jeff Green is an upgrade for them defensively. Jay Crowder, theoretically, would be an upgrade for them defensively. He hasn't shown it yet this year, but that was one of his calling cards. And Dwayne Wade's been one of their best defenders. Also, I think LeBron will do what he did last year in the playoffs, which is start playing that center field rover role, which you can do against everyone in the East. Now, against the Warriors, he can't do that, which is one of the reasons the defense wasn't as good. So, no, I mean, history is the biggest predictor of what's going to happen in the future. And history says the Cavs will be able to turn their defense around, not to be an elite defense, but to be a passable defense. And they did it, by the way, in the second half last night.
So Nick thinks they're going to win the whole thing.
I didn't say that, but I mean, I think they will be in the final playoff series of the year. That one I'm very, very confident.
All right, one more segment to go. Coming up is Tom Brady on the verge of his biggest accomplishment yet. Next on First Things First.